Hello, friend. I am so excited to be with you here tonight to talk to you about 3 steps to a more abundant life. And so I'm wanting you to learn and take these steps now so that you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait to have the beautiful, satisfying life that you desire. So stay tuned for these 3 tips and some easy actions that you can take to have more abundance. So here we go. I'm going to give you the overview and then we'll go into more detail with them. Stop chasing abundance. I appreciate what's already there. That is step number 1, and I'm going to show you an example of what I'm doing to create this step this year that's different than other years that I've tried to be thankful and show gratitude and all that stuff, right? I'm just going to show you a different way that I love. Step number 2 to create a more abundant life is to improve your ability to receive. Now you may think, I have no trouble receiving, but once we get into this, you may discover that there's a little bit of work that you might be able to do on that. And step number 3 is to make space for abundance in your home. I've got something really awesome that I'm going to share with you at the end of this live, which is going to be about 20 minutes. So stay tuned and so you can get a free gift that applies to this step number 3 of making space for abundance in your home. Let me introduce myself. I'm Kate Varness. I'm a business and life coach, and I combine energy, healing, human design, and my 15 plus years as a certified organizer and coach to help entrepreneurs align with their innate energy, eliminate resistance, and have more ease and abundance. And that is exactly what this live is here to help support you with. First of all, let's talk about abundance. What is abundance? Well, it's not just money. If you think it's just money, you're not really looking at the full picture here. It's about well-being, and that can include your health. It can include financial stability, physical security, satisfying relationships, feeling like you are enough and have enough, and the freedom to do things that you love. Here's my favorite one, the ability to live your soul's mission. I love working with people. Oftentimes they are creative rebels who are going by the beat of their own drummer, and they know for sure that they're here to do something really big, to be on a mission and to live that soul's mission. And together we bring into form what that is. So I'd love it if you could type in what abundance means to you. Tell me in the comments, what does abundance mean to you? So here's the thing to know. An abundant life isn't in the distant future. It is available right now. And the fact is that in every moment, you're creating your experience. So my question for you is, what experience are you having? Are you experiencing what you desire? Or is there something more that you want to create? Well, let's figure out how we can do that. With that first step of stop chasing abundance. So the energy of chasing is the energy of not enough. Because if you've ever noticed, you never really arrive at that destination of enough when you are chasing something. And meanwhile, you're feeling crappy about your life and maybe just having little glimpses of the joy that you want to have. And you're thinking, well, why can't I have this all the time? Why is it such an up and down experience? Now, it's counterintuitive to hear this, but it's not in doing more that's going to get you where you want to go. Doing more only sinks you further into that quicksand of dissatisfaction and feeling like you haven't arrived. So the solution for this is to stop, to get quiet, and to cultivate appreciation. I want to tell you about this really cool thing that I am doing this year. Now, I have led you've heard of vision boards before. Vision boards are where you would put the things that you want to bring into your life. It is built on the law of abundance, that when you're inhabiting the energy or the frequency of feeling that, that beautiful vacation or that fancy car is already yours, that you then attract it into your life. And while I believe that there is truth to that, I also know that in my own experience, when I've made vision boards, they've kind of acted in the opposite way. I don't know about you, but when I look at those things that I want to create, there's part of me that's like, okay, going through the motions, yes, I'm creating that frequency, but in actuality, I'm just attuned to the fact that there's this giant gap between where I am and where I want to be. And so then I am stuck in that frequency of lack, of not enough, even though my actions are saying, let's do this vision board, right? Let's create it like magic, right? So I'm trying something different this year, and I'm calling it an appreciation board. So it's the same concepts, except on this board, I put things that I already have, that I already appreciate, that already feel like I can build and tap into that good feeling place. So for example, I took a picture of my washer and dryer and also of my kitchen, which is so easy to cook in. The washer and dryer, it may not seem like a big thing, but a few weeks ago our washer died, and we were like 2 weeks without a washer, and it was pretty rough. So let me tell you that I really appreciate having that washer and dryer right there in my home, working while I work. Easy peasy. Same with the kitchen, same with the pictures of my family, because these are things that are already here that I get to appreciate and enjoy. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm just going to give you a little glimpse. My theme for the year is surprise and delight. So here's my family in my house and my dog. The theme of my year is surprise and delight. And boy, this is such a cool theme. Every morning I have my cup of coffee and sit with my notebook, and I journal on whatever pops out to me on that appreciation board. And I just appreciate it. I'm grateful for it, and it's genuine, as opposed to in the past where I've done the gratitude piece, but it's felt a bit forced. I'm really enjoying this process, and I would encourage you to think about doing it as well. So here's the thing to know about chasing abundance for yourself, is that you are not a project. And so stop thinking of yourself as one. You can limit that gap, narrow that gap by repeating this mantra. So you might want to write this down. The mantra is, I am exactly where I need to be. So I'll say that again. I'm exactly where I need to be. These words are words of trust and flow and appreciation. And when you say them to yourself again and again, it will have an effect that will stop you from chasing abundance and help you to instead step into what you can already appreciate, which then becomes a pathway to create the things that you desire. All right, step number two is to improve your ability to receive. And there's two sides of this receiving piece. The first side is receiving from others. You might say, no problem. I'm happy to receive $1 million from anyone who wants to give it to me. Well, why don't I ask you if you're able to receive a compliment? Let's say somebody says something nice to you. I really love your hair today. Are you going to respond with a simple thank you and take that sweet thing in? Or do you come back with a comment like, oh, yeah, I didn't want to look dumpy today, so I took a little extra time. Or, it's nothing. Right? So the deflecting, fully receiving those kind words is a form of stopping abundance. And so this is an area where you can work on a little bit. You'll know from this little receiving test Here's another one. What if somebody takes you out for lunch? Are you happy to let them pay for you? Or is it going to cause you to feel like you are indebted to them and you'd rather not have to, have the debt of giving to them? What if you can just receive that beautiful free lunch and not have an attachment to whether you need to pay it back? It's just free and clear, unconditional. Again, what's your reaction to this? Is this something that you have an ease with or have difficulty with? When you have your own business and you're an online coach or a healer or whatever, and it comes time to set prices for your products and services, this can be a tricky business, and it's especially difficult if you're unable to receive from others, because there can be a feeling as if I have to deserve it, or I have to prove that they're getting their money's worth, or all kinds of money challenging ideas. But it doesn't have to be that way. When you can practice in these small moments of being able to receive and taking it in and really just feeling it, allowing the goodness of it to settle into your body, and you expand into that different place, then you're able to charge for the products and services at the value that you really are giving. Now, I'm assuming if you're watching this and you're a coach or a healer or have a business online, that you are really showing up in an authentic way, in a way that's delivering everything of value to the clients. And so that needs to be honored in what you're asking to receive. And this is where doing the little steps allow you to take that bigger expanded step and allow in the abundance from your business. So the other side of this is, can you receive from yourself? So do you allow yourself to receive nurturing from yourself? Are you the last on your list? Are you a slave driver in your business? If your inner girl or boy needs attention and is throwing a tantrum, are you just, I'm just going to ignore it and hope it goes away? Or do you step aside and attend to what that inner child really needs from you, to give them all the attention and love they need? This is also a form of receiving. And many people who have an identity that's attached to being a giver have difficulty receiving. But these are two sides of the same dynamic. You can't have an openness of giving and block receiving. They both need to be open in order to flow properly. So I have a saying that goes like this: don't call yourself a giver if you can't give to yourself. And you may have difficulty right now with receiving, but this is an opportunity for you to really step into that good feeling place of abundance in your life. And let me tell you, you don't have to, this is not a race to get to a certain place. You get to start exactly where you are and expand gradually. So start with practicing receiving compliments, if that was a problem with you, or just receiving free gifts and lunches, and experimenting with saying your pricing with confidence, knowing that the value that you present is something that people will gladly pay because you are answering their prayers. So I have a mantra for you on this one as well. Again, I would just recommend writing it down. And the mantra is, I am open to receive. I am open to receive. Again, you can repeat this to yourself on a daily basis. In fact, one of my favorite authors, Tasha Silver, who wrote a book called It's Not Your Money, she has in that book what's called an abundance prayer. And I say this to myself every day. There's a little piece of it I want to quote to you right now, and it goes like this: let everything that needs to go, go, and everything that needs to come, come. What this is an abundance of trust. Trust that what is coming your way is exactly what you need. We don't always know the divine timing and the reasoning for what's going on, and so that makes us feel out of control. So the more that we feel out of control, the more we try to control. But like I said with the other things, this is when you are stepping into lack, and the lack constricts. It constricts your feelings of well-being and abundance. So the first step and the second step that I've talked about today are easy ways that you can right now change that equation. The final step for tonight is for you to make space for abundance in your home. Now, there is a direct connection between the state of your home and your life satisfaction and level of abundance. Now, don't get me wrong here. I do not care if your house looks perfect. This is not about being perfect. My question for you is, does your house support you? Does your house support you? That's really what your home is meant to do, is to support you in doing the more important things in life, the well-being aspects that I mentioned at the beginning of tonight's live, like being with your family, like having the energy to do the tasks you need to for your business. When you open that drawer or that closet and you're feeling a sense of dread or the burden that you've got to get to that, it's taking away your energy. It's draining your energy. And so you think, well, the way to fix this is that I've got to take a whole bunch of time and it's going to be a really awful process, but it doesn't have to be. So there's a spiritual dynamic at play here that I absolutely know to be true from my 15 plus years as a professional organizer and coach in people's homes. And that is when a space is too crowded, when it's just over full and there is clutter of things that aren't used and things that are broken and unfinished projects, that is going to make an effect on your everyday experience. And that experience is going to be, right? But this is something really simple that you can take control of. You can do it in a small way. Now, I know that this dynamic is true because I've seen it again and again when people make space for abundance in their home. New blessings come to them. I've seen this experience for myself, and I think at some level you know this to be true also. So today I want to invite you into a different approach, and we're just going to set aside the idea that disorganization is a moral issue. It is not something to be ashamed of. There are many, many reasons that people have disorganization, from brain-based conditions like depression, anxiety, OCD, ADHD, to physical conditions like a fatigue inducing chronic illness, or getting older and not being able to lift things and move things like you're used to having little gremlins in your house. I mean, children, right? Children are like tornadoes causing the havoc of behind them. Things don't stay where they were. And so that makes a different set of circumstances. And the last thing that I want to do is to put pressure on you to have some sort of perfect home that you become a slave to keeping up. That is not my approach at all. So the approach that could be easier for you is one that doesn't mean you have to take up your whole Saturday and get overwhelmed and then not finish the project, but it's creating little pockets of delight in your home. This is possible. And so I've created a free gift for you to support you in this process, and it's called Delightful Spaces, Weekly Mini Missions for a Joyfully Organized Home. And all you need to do is to download it. I would suggest printing it. Find the week that is the week of the year that is right now, and do that project that's right next to the week. And space by space, you're going to find delightful spaces in your home, and then that's going to build momentum, and it's going to make you feel good, and you'll be creating space for abundance. To an abundant life, first, stop chasing abundance and start to appreciate what you already have. Again, that mantra is, I'm exactly where I need to be. Step 2 is to improve your ability to receive. The mantra here is, I am open to receive. Remember, start where you are. No need to put pressure on yourself. Just begin to open to receive. And step 3 is to make space for abundance in your house. And that you can get started on right away by downloading Delightful Spaces. This week's mini mission is to tidy up your towels and sheets. I'd love to know. So now is the time for you to create your experience. I really want to invite you to step into creating your experience, and one that feels good and one that makes you feel momentum and abundance.